Chances are you know two things about Goodwill.
Hello, welcome to Goodwill.
One, it's a place where you can drop things off that you want to donate to charity.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope, thank you so much.
Two, Goodwill's a great place to shop if you're looking for bargains.
I'm great. How are you?
Well, this story isn't about either of those things. This is the story of what happens to the money Goodwill makes, but not only how it's spent. Rather, this is the story of how Goodwill donations changed the lives of 4 families. And hopefully, within those stories, you'll find the answer to a question. It was a day that became Dr. Roberta Smith's worst nightmare. She was at work when the phone rang. Her young son, Jason, had been hit by a car.
So I was really panicked. I was terrified. His head was so swollen, I wouldn't have recognized him.
Jason recovered, but suffered severe brain damage. His future uncertain.
This was like having a baby. He basically had to learn to walk, talk, feed himself. It was a total relearning process. And you really didn't know how far is this going to go, how's he going to do.
In other news tonight, a horrific collision in Savannah.
Josie Watson's worst nightmare came the night she saw a news story about a terrible car accident. Within hours, she learned her son Franklin was in one of the cars and near death.
He had no brain activity, and they kept telling me every day that they did not think he was going to make it.
Franklin recovered, but for the young college student, it meant starting over, literally.
It was like somebody hit the delete button. Everything was gone. Every single thing that I knew, I lost it all. All the stuff I learned, everything I experienced was gone.
Franklin fought his way back. Through rehab and counseling from Goodwill, he was able to go back to college and now has a full-time job.
Look what they did for me. Went back to school, graduated, got an electronics engineering technology major.
My name is Jason. I'm with Patient Transport.
Thanks to training he got at Goodwill, Jason Smith has a full-time job too.
Be right back. I've been with the hospital for 15 years, and I've been with Patient Transport for the past 13 years.
Jason is the consummate professional, so if there's anyone that can lead a new team member and develop them into exactly what we want at Memorial Hospital, Jason's the one.
All veterans, you're going to sign in right here if you're a non-veteran.
Goodwill's impact goes beyond helping the disabled find work.
All right, you're welcome.
Goodwill of the Coastal Empire is a lead agency helping homeless veterans and their families with events like this one. In 1 year, the number of those provided meals and clothing jumped from 300 to more than 1,800 homeless veterans in Savannah alone. Goodwill employees like Lamar Oliver don't stop there. He literally goes out looking for homeless vets, sometimes in shelters, sometimes in the woods, to see what he and Goodwill can do to help.
2 words should never be to go together, homeless and vet. Once again, these folks, they have put their life on the line for this country. These folks they made a sacrifice. Some have no family at all. And you find yourself sinking lower and lower. And to one day you find yourself in that position, being homeless and even living under bridges. But just to see that, it really hurts me, and I'm sure it hurts a lot of other Americans as well.
Lamar's drive and Goodwill's resources found 2 veterans and their families, homeless and losing hope.
Come on, get in the car.
Cherie Harrison saw combat in Iraq. But after the Army, she found herself and her 3 daughters homeless.
9.5 years in the Army, and I get out and can't take care of my kids. I was without a job, without a place to stay. And it was me and my kids in a car. Goodwill got me a job. And I work and I get a paycheck.
For Iraq veteran Shane Knowles, a sadly similar story.
Right after I got out of the military, I was living at a homeless shelter with a pregnant wife. Lamar Oliver from Goodwill was there to talk to veterans. I now work over 80 hours every 2 weeks.
So now you know that Goodwill is more than just a place to donate things you want to give to charity. It's also more than just a place for bargains. But remember, we also asked you a question. Now you have the answer.
If it had not been for Goodwill, I really don't know what he would have done.
They could help a person with a disability achieve their dreams.
Goodwill gave me my son back.
And I found Goodwill. Or I should say Goodwill found me.
If it was not for Goodwill, I don't know where we would be right now.